Hello again, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Once again, Eric is not here. This week his excuse is jury duty.
Pretty good excuse.
I don't know if his stuff is coming from Orlando or coming from the jury box. I don't know, but no, seriously, he's doing his civic duty, working out the jury thing, and he actually got a trial. So
oh boy,
he was out of commission through this entire week. My understanding is it's supposed to wrap up. Was supposed to wrap up. This is Saturday, of course. Being the pre-recording, but he's supposed to be wrapping up his trial this week. So hopefully we'll be back in the saddle in the next couple of weeks and talking. But in the meantime, Matthew Grassi's here. He's fresh off a trip to Farm Progress through some interesting times. So we'll talk about that in a sec. Just want to thank John Dignan from Ag Tester. He's actually a columnist for us on CropLife Iron, and sent us a couple of mugs. But he does all kinds of, he's an electronics wizard. In fact, he's connected with my son, who's also an electronics nut, and sent him a bunch of stuff on shortwave radios. And it's the nitty-gritty electronic stuff that you get your hands dirty and have to work your way into. But it's the stuff that breaks, that becomes problematic. So a lot of the columns that John's written is about how to understand the problems that occur with some of these things and fix them. So we appreciate his support on that front. But Ag Tester is the mug of the week.
Nice.
So on the Farm Progress. So yes. I know it was a muddy, sloppy mess. The troopers shut it down. It was
on Tuesday.
It was ugly. So what happened?
Yeah, well, I guess it was good for me getting in there late, because I kind of missed all the hubbub around Tuesday morning. It just started pouring in Boone, and they shut it right down because it was super muddy, and they were having to push people out of the parking lot.
So I heard there was lightning strikes, and
yes.
It was like was lightning strike, wasn't just water, but that was bad too.
Good decision though, because about a couple hours later it really started raining cats and dogs in Ames where I was staying. So I would not have wanted to be at the show with. I mean, it was ugly.
Geez,
but then Wednesday came along and dried up a little bit, and the sun came out, and it was a great show. A ton of digital stuff from this show. Mostly Farm Progress when I started was a lot of equipment news and a lot of product launches, and it's like everything in ag, it's just going more and more on the digital side of things. So I guess first off would be the climate. They held a press event Tuesday night at the Gateway Hotel in Ames, because the show was rained out, obviously. So they were talking about Seed Advisor there, and updating kind of the ag media on what's going on with that. So this fall, 50 dealers, climate dealers, will be participating in a beta for that Seed Advisor with their growers. And hopefully we'll get some kind of, after that wraps up, we'll get some idea on how that thing's going to look, and how growers are going to receive that, and how the industry's going to receive that whole deal.
So, do you have any idea what the retailer's responsibility is going to be, or what the participation means for the dealers?
Well, I think the dealers, these are the guys that are selling seed, and they're going to be kind of stewarding this digital thing and introducing it to growers, and making sure they are trained and understand kind of that. The thing is, it spits out top 5 seed hybrid varieties that the grower wants to use, and kind of leaves it at that point to the grower. But using all that climate data they've been collecting for 5-6 years now, and all throughout the Midwest. I mean, it's something crazy, like 50 or 60 million data points that they're aggregating to make these recs.
Yeah, I mean, there were when they first talked about field scripts way back when it was Monsanto's early days. That was something that they wanted to do pretty much right off the bat, but just because of the variety, or the variances in data, and some of the issues with just making sure that all the data was valid and it was on target, it was difficult for them to make real recommendations that were meaningful. So this is kind of almost like 2.0 to some degree. Yep. So and then of course the trusted advisors in the mix too, hopefully. So
of course.
They're going to be relied on as well. So it should be interesting. Good stuff.
Yeah, and on the other side of seed, there was the FBN thing. They launched a couple weeks back their new seed line. So 4 corn hybrids that they'll be offering growers, and also the Roundup Ready soybeans. And at the show, they actually had a biplane circling the fairgrounds with the FBN F2F banner kind of. So pretty interesting marketing there by FBN.
Brought up the flash pots, did they? Yeah, well, there you go. It's interesting. I did just for Yucks, I did a Twitter poll because one of the things that they mentioned was you could hold back seed, which that's obviously the age-old practice of farmers would hold back an amount of seed before we get to the technology fees and hybrids and so forth. So for a small technology fee, they were going to allow farmers to hold back seed, and I just threw it out to the Precision Ag readership on our Twitter poll.
Very active on Twitter.
Let's say they are asking if that's holding back seed is something they'd even be interested in doing, and 50% said definitely no. 25% said maybe, and 25% approximately in that range said definitely yes. That's interesting. Technology fees have been around for like 15 years now, maybe a little bit longer, and that number of farmers to just come out and say flat, absolutely not. It's a real cultural practice change where they want to know what's in the bags, what's in the bag. And FBN may provide some assurances about that with some testing, but you can't test every seed. You don't know what genetic you're getting out at the other side when you start that. And is that something you're really comfortable with? Is whatever I collected is going to be enough of the same germplasm that I planted last year that you'd want to put all the risk back into that seed. But there's definitely some that are interested, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the ongoing trend of digitizing the whole seed choice, hybrid choice thing with growers, and we're just going to see more of that going forward, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So Corteva had a really big presence. It was a giant presence. I saw some of the pictures.
I've never seen a booth like that at a trade show, and I mean, super impressive, beautiful. I don't even really know how to describe it, except it looked like some kind of like high-end shopping district thing in the middle of the Iowa cornfields there in Boone. So, good job, Corteva.
They make a big splash.
They certainly. I mean, that was one of the talks. Other than the rain and the mud, that was kind of
interesting. So, what else? Anything else going on?
Zarvio. Now Bayer had launched Zarvio in Europe in previous years, and then earlier this year in Canada, before regulators had asked Bayer to sell off the Zarvio, the digital farming side, to kind of manage that whole deal, the Bayer Monsanto thing. So now BASF has taken that over, and they are bringing it to the U.S. ag market, and FPS was their first show kind of showing it to the U.S., and very cool. I called it crowdsourced scouting. It's kind of they're doing the weed identification and the disease identification stuff with the smartphone photos, but they're also going to round that into kind of an alerting notification portal where guys are submitting diseases all around you or symptoms, and then they're trying to get out ahead of that, sending alerts and notifications. So.
Well, it's interesting, it goes along with what we've been seeing. I think more of the companies not so much trying to get into a broader agronomy approach, but really, what can they do to help move more of their own product? And of course, with BASF, its headline, and trying to get an exact or as precise a possible timing as you can on fungicides, and I don't think anyone would argue that's the better we can get a handle on when exactly to apply for maximum yield is a good thing. Yep. So that's good to see. Hopefully that'll continue to move forward. We'll see what else
a whole lot of neat stuff with that platform. I mean, more than I'm saying here, so definitely check it out if that's something you're interested in.
Cool. Anything else at the...
Nutrient Ag Solutions, the formerly CPS, those guys, they're launching a brand new digital platform that will include an e-commerce offering here in December 2018. So Nutrient Ag Solutions growers will be able to kind of do the Amazon thing, order inputs, fertilizer online, and now they did assure me that the first year of this it will go through the retail network, so this is not bypassing the local retailer. They will still fulfill the orders and all that, but growers will just be able to go online and kind of order things as everyone else does on Amazon and on all these online sites. So pretty neat.
Well, it's interesting. We're working on a story that goes with the October issue, talking about e-commerce and a little bit about, rebates and things like that. And a couple of conversations has come up about, whether this could force force away rebates or start pushing rebates to the side, because these e-commerce sites really need to reflect reflect pricing that's accurate and that's competitive, and it's going to be difficult to do on an e-commerce site if there's any bloating going on with rebates or rebate pricing. So we'll see. There's some theories, and maybe, you know, in a certain number of years into the future here, not as far as we think, that could affect it. But that's interesting, and we'll cover that more in October.
Yep. And then the last piece of hard news to come out of that show was the Monsanto Bayer presser that 8 days into the merger, and Brett Begeman, the former Monsanto president, he was in his full baby blue Bayer polo, and someone in the presser called him out on that, how kind of weird it looked, and he said, "Hey, I like this shirt." So, and he assured us that, I guess, kind of the overarching theme of that presser was just that it's business as usual at the new combined company Bayer. Nothing for right now is going to change. All products, all brands are kind of set for the next growing season, and there are also a lot of talk about climate and the digital platform and digitizing everything, so that's a big part of this whole Bayer Monsanto deal.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on it, and Top 100 is part of that is getting a sense for how retailers are feeling about the service that they're getting from the major manufacturers. So we'll tap into that opinion here in the next couple of weeks as they fill out surveys, and we'll get a sense for how that's playing in the field, because this ends up being what matters is how it's reflected in the field staff and service that's being realized there. So.
Yep.
Well, that's great. Thanks for bringing all that back. I'm sure we'll have more. We'll have a farm progress wrap up that we'll do in October. That'll have certainly more information on that. Thanks.
And stuff on CropLife.com and PrecisionAg.com if you want to check that out as well.